All right, thank you so much for sitting down with me today. I'm just going to be taking you through a presentation, just looking at your current financial situation, just taking a look at something in specific that is an area of improvement, and then just looking at a course of action that we can take starting, right now. So, um, kind of like I was talking about before, we're just going to be looking at your priorities. So when that fact finder that you guys previously filled out, we're just going to be looking at your priorities, and then reviewing your financial statements, so that balance sheet, and your cash flow statement. And then we're going to be addressing your estate settlement needs, something in particular that I just saw that might need a little improvement there. And then we'll just be looking at your financial priorities, and then a course of action that you guys can take right now. So let's get started here. So with your priorities, starting from top to bottom here, just looking to fund a comfortable retirement, and then it would be funding your children's educations, providing for long-term care needs, and then properly addressing your estate settlement needs, and then evaluating your investment portfolio. This is all from that fact finder you guys filled out. We won't be addressing all these issues today. Mainly just talking about those estate settlement needs in particular. Um, so looking at your financial statements, this is your balance sheet. So kind of broke it down, assets, liabilities, and equity. So looking at your assets here, just looking at your total current assets, total marketable investments, total pension assets, total real estate, and then total household assets. The majority of your assets are coming from your pensions, so your 401k and your IRAs. And then it would be, your total real estate, so basically the value of your home. Then it would be total household assets, your vehicles, your personal property. And then looking at your liabilities, for your current liabilities, it's just made up of, your credit card debt. It's not ideal where we want to be, but, that is an area of improvement. And we'll touch on things to do, to resolve that issue um, in your course of action. So, um, and then looking at your long-term liabilities, so just your mortgage and your auto loans. But overall, you're looking pretty good. Your total assets far outweigh your total liabilities, which leaves you with, a lot of equity, which is a good thing. Just another area of not concern, but improvement that we can kind of address with your estate settlement needs would be the liquidity of your assets. I'm not seeing a lot of liquidity here besides those money market funds, um, but that is something we can address later on. So um, and then reviewing your cash flow statement here, just broken down um, from your income to your expenses, and then just netting a monthly cash flow here. um, so your expenses mostly broken down. The majority of your expenses are coming from your housing expenses, so your mortgage, property tax, utilities. And then total transportation expenses, personal expenses, discretionary expenses. And discretionary expenses is something we'll touch on later with your course of action. But overall, you're looking pretty good. Netting about $1,000 a month. So that is a good thing. Just some things we can improve on there. So we'll touch on that at later on in this presentation. So, um, and then next, we're just going to be looking at your estate settlement needs. So you guys do have a written will, which is a good thing. Just a little outdated. Last time it was updated was in 1998, so it's just important to keep that regularly updated. It just might lead to unintended beneficiaries, invalid executors, inaccurate asset distribution, tax consequences if there's legislation change, in the state that you live in, and then it might not be up to date with your current life circumstances. And I also saw that there was no named executor of your will, so it's important to just name an executor of your will. You don't want a court-appointed administrator, so basically a court will just appoint you, either you or not you, but a member of your family, or just someone other choosing to be the executor of your will. They might not be the one that you want. They might not be qualified. That might lead to a mismanagement of your estate. Might lead to delays in estate settlement when they're deciding who's going to be the executor of that will. It might lead to family disputes. So maybe one child is named the executor and another one wants to be, and they're fighting over that, so no one wants that. And then it just might lead to increased legal and administrative costs. And then reliance of a will. So I didn't see there was any other estate distribution plan set in place. So it's important to have other distribution options. As a will doesn't cover everything. It doesn't avoid probate, and probate's an expensive and slow process. It creates a lack of privacy because probate's a public process as well, and there's no protection for incapacity. Obviously, a will takes place after your death, so it doesn't cover that. And then a will has certain control over complex needs, so it can't avoid estate tax, it can't protect assets from creditors or divorce, and it can't ensure long-term care needs for a beneficiary if they ever do unfortunately become disabled. And a will has certain limits on what it can and cannot directly transfer. So, a life insurance policy, your retirement accounts, and payable on death and transferable on death investment accounts. So things that we can do to kind of address, these needs here would be just to update that will, right away. Just, make sure that your will reflects your current wishes. Name a trustworthy executor of your will. Ensure all beneficiaries are current. And classify asset distribution just to avoid any confusion or disputes, in the future. You can create a revocable living trust. So basically, this would cover everything that a will does not. So, when you're looking to, pass on assets, later on in life, it avoids probate, provides management of your assets if, both of you were ever to become unfortunately incapacitated. And it allows for just a faster and, private distribution of assets. So, and then just make sure you're adding beneficiary designations. So just updating beneficiary forms on your life insurance policy, your retirement accounts, and those investment accounts that we're talking about with that payable on death or transferable on death options on there. Establish power of attorney and other healthcare directives. So just appointing a durable power of attorney for financial matters, and then creating a living will for those medical decisions. Um, and then consider other planning tools. You might want to consider, starting a charitable trust or, just transferring assets to a charitable foundation. And then creating a life insurance trust with liquidity concerns. What a life insurance trust would do would be just to, give your beneficiaries, tax-free cash that, let's say your house has a outstanding balance on the mortgage, you just help them pay that off, any, fees or taxes related with that, and then, you can sell those assets that, aren't liquid, um, at a later date, without, just a huge penalty or a huge, um, loss, of valuation on those assets. And then conducting regular reviews. So, just it's best practice to, update your estate plan every 3 to 5 years or just after major life changes, and just to make sure that all the documentation is just in a secure and accessible place. So yeah, this would all take, it takes quite a bit of time, but, things that we can do in the meantime would be, this is kind of your course of action just right now. So, cutting back on that discretionary spending, that would help, increase this cash flow, monthly, free up some income, and then, maybe even look to, get additional income. I know you guys are surviving on one source of income right now, but if Colleen were to go to even part-time work, just using that income to, brings me to my next point would be to pay off those higher interest debts we were talking about before, those credit cards, not paying minimums, uh, maybe you guys don't need to take out another line of credit, um, stuff like that. And then once that higher interest debt's off the books, then we can look to, use that extra income to pay off the things that you guys really want to pay off, so like that mortgage, and those auto loans, stuff like that, and contribute to, retirement accounts, stuff like that. So, and then lastly, just, focus on creating that revocable living trust, as well as that life insurance trust to just to, address those liquidity concerns of your assets. Um, so that is about it. I just want to thank you guys again for sitting down with me. If there's any questions, comments, concerns, just feel free to state them now. But other than that, that is it. So thank you.